If you are new to this class or yoga in any capacity, Vinyasa is a flow-based practice. You'll notice a repetitiveness in the movement, and we also incorporate our breath into the poses most of the time. So our inhales and exhales will help lead us in and out of poses and also help us move deeper into relaxation. So the breath is an important part of this practice. I don't expect everyone to know poses just by the name. If I can remember, I usually try to call out the name of a pose before I build up the alignment. So for those of us who are a little more familiar with the practice, you don't have to wait for me to build the poses up. So I'll do the best I can with trying to call the poses out beforehand. Before we get started, I want to remind everyone to always listen to your body, take breaks if you need to. And you can always jump back into practice whenever you're ready. This isn't Simon Says, this is your practice. So practice however feels best to you. And always check with the doctor before you start a new exercise plan. Today, we're gonna get started in a seated position. So take a comfortable cross-leg seated position facing the front of your mat. I'm gonna face this way for now just so you guys can see me. So I'm gonna lose cross-leg shape, but if that's not comfortable for you, try a loose diamond shape with the legs, bottoms of the feet together. However you can sit comfortably with your spine nice and long, find that seated position. Starting with your hands at your sides, fingertips to floor. Find some length through the sides of the body and lower chin down towards the chest, keeping your gaze focused on one spot of the floor. And start to deepen the breath. Just becoming present, preparing our body for this practice. Taking a few breaths in through the nose and exhaling out through mouth. Let your head roll over to right shoulder. Chin back to center of the chest and over to left shoulder. At your own pace, do this a few times, back and forth. And don't just let the head hang heavy. You don't want to hear or feel any crunching. So chin should not be all the way down towards the chest, just enough so you can feel some sensation around the neck. Lift your head through center, tilt your chin up towards the ceiling. And again, rolling head over to left shoulder. And around the back this time, over to the right. A few times back and forth. Lifting head through center, finding stillness. Bring fingertips behind you, facing away from the body and open from the front side of the body. Lifting through the ribs and the chest, tilting head up to ceiling, opening the throat, maybe parting the lips. Taking a breath or two here. Increasing our lung capacity. Opening the chest and sort of a counter stretch, especially if you spend a lot of time hunched in front of a computer at a desk all day. Walk the fingertips back to the side of the body, finding length towards the ceiling. Then hinging forward from the hips, walking the fingertips forward and gazing down towards the mat. Spine is nice and long. We're lengthening the spine, dropping shoulders away from ears, gazing down towards the mat. And engage the core just a little bit, drawing belly button back towards the spine. Walk the fingertips back to the sides of the body. Spinal twist to the right, twisting from the belly, placing right hand directly behind you and left directly in front as you gaze to the back of the mat. Use your exhale to release the pose, returning hands to sides of body. Take a deep breath in here. On your next exhale, spinal twisting to the left. Left hand directly behind, gazing towards the back of the mat. And use your exhale to unwind, fingers back at our sides. One more time, fingertips behind you, facing away from the body, opening the front of the chest, wrapping shoulders behind the heart, lifting chin up towards the chest, up towards the ceiling, Then fingertips come back at your sides, hinging forward at the hips, walking fingertips forward, gazing down towards the mat, creating length in the spine. Walk fingertips back to your side. Use your exhale for spinal twist towards the right, gazing over right shoulder. Deep breath in through nose as you exhale and wind, fingertips to side. Using your next exhale, spinal twisting to the left. Exhale and winds, fingertips back at our sides. Place your feet on the mat so knees are bent up towards the ceiling and hands are placed behind you once again. Slowly let the knees fall to the right. However far is comfortable for you, we're opening the outer hips here. Let the knees roll back up to the ceiling and then let them fall over to the left. We're going to keep repeating this movement back and forth, moving at your own pace, letting knees fall as far as comfortable for your body. Maybe another time or two. Find stillness and walk your hands closer in towards your body so your spine is straight up towards the ceiling. Extend your right leg down onto the mat, flexing the foot. Opposite knee falls down towards the floor. Bring the bottom of your left foot in towards the extended leg. Put a slight bend in the right leg. Lift both arms overhead. Find length out through the crown of your head. Engage your core and lower to forward fold, hinging at the hips, dropping belly to thighs, letting arms fall down at your sides and gazing down towards your leg. Each time you inhale, think about lengthening the spine a little more. Exhaling, seeing if belly can drop closer to the thigh. If your belly is not making contact with your thigh, bend your knee enough until you feel that contact. To help protect the low back. Slowly walk the hands back to the sides of the body and lengthen the spine towards the ceiling. Bending both knees, placing feet on the mat. Left leg extends, flexing the foot. Opposite knee falls down towards the floor. Slight bend in the extended leg. Draw the breath in, lift both arms overhead. Then exhale, forward fold. Belly drops to the thighs, arms drop to the floor. Gaze is towards the floor. Reaching forward with the chest and the ribs. Keep that spine long, core engaged. Walk the hands back to sides of the body, lifting the spine up towards the ceiling, then extending right leg down to meet the left. Both legs are straight, feet are flexed. Gentle bend in both knees. Send the hips forward. Inhale, lift arms overhead. Exhale, forward folds, belly to thighs. If you can hold on to the tops of the feet, you can, lifting through the chest, leading with the chest. Otherwise, hands can be at your sides. Slowly rise out of your forward folds. Then swing the legs behind you and meet me in a tabletop position. On our hands and knees, wrist under shoulders, the knees stacked under hips. Round the spine to cat pose, my favorite. Tucking chin to chest, drawing belly in. Return to tabletop, then lift and arch to cow, tilting the head up towards the ceiling. Again, rounding the spine into cat, drawing belly in, chin to chest. Slowly lifting and arching into cow, tilting head up towards ceiling. A few more times at your own pace. Starting the movement with the tailbone and then moving the arch or the roundness up the spine. Exhaling to round. Inhaling to lift and arch. Loosening up the spine, the muscles around the spine. Then find stillness in the tabletop position. Lift up to the tips of your fingers. Extend your right leg behind you. Point through the toes. Draw the belly in to flatten the back. Then draw right knee in towards the chest for a crunch. Around the spine, lift that knee up as high as you can. Then step or place the foot into lunge. Footsteps in between the hands, ankle below the knee. Top of the left foot to the mat. Draw a breath in through the nose, slowly lifting both arms overhead. We'll exhale and pause here. Rooting down through left knee, tucking lower ribs in. Finding length out through crown of head, shoulders squared away from ears. Take a few breaths here into the chest. Lower hands down through heart center and down at your sides. Breathe in through the nose, lifting arms out at your sides, up overhead, gaze up. Exhale, hands together and down at the sides. 2 more times. Breath in, arms up, nice, slow, deep breath. Exhaling, hands down through heart center and down at your sides. Last time, slow movement. Exhale. Fingertips lower to floor. Extend the forward leg behind you, point through toes, and return to tabletop. Left leg extends, heel in line with hip, flatten the back, drawing belly in, giving me a crunch, rounding spine, lifting knee to chest, draw the belly in, and step or place the foot into lunge. Drawing breath in through the nose as we slowly lift both arms overhead. Exhale, pause here. Bring hands together and lower them down at your sides. Deep breath in through the nose, lifting arms out at your sides. Once again, up overhead, gaze up. Exhale, hands together. Arms down at sides. Twice more. Deep breath in through the nose. Exhale out through mouth. Last time, deep breath in. Slow breath out. And fingertips return to floor. Extend the forward leg behind you, pointing through the toes and returning to your tabletop position. Settling back into child's pose, bring toes to touch. Hips come all the way down to the heels, forehead to mat. Separating the knees to make a little space for your belly. Arms are extended forward. If you're feeling any discomfort on your knees or on your hips, you can try puppy pose. Elbows to the mat, stacked under shoulders, hips in the air, gazing between the knees. Either position, you're still getting length in the spine, you're still resting. Whichever feels most comfortable for you. Bring your attention to your breath. We're going to pause here for another few moments, finishing our warm-up. All focus is on the breath. Slowly rise back to tabletop. Spread your fingers nice and wide, planting them firmly on the mat, pressing into pointer and thumb specifically, and tucking toes onto the mat. Lifting the hips to down dog. Start by lifting knees off the mat, drawing belly in. Keep the knees bent, but send the hips up towards the ceiling. Press belly back towards the thighs and gaze between the feet. Knees are going to stay bent for now if the legs feel tight or this is your first time through. Slight outer rotation of the upper arms, low bellies drawing in. We're breathing here. Creating length in our spine. Then look forward. Start to shift the weight forward. Draw the left knee in towards your chest and step or place the foot into lunge, lifting up to pointer and middle finger, sending chest forward, drawing belly in. Stepping up to half lift, right foot steps up to the top of the mat, flatten your back, parallel to the floor, hands to shins, gazes down towards the floor. Lowering to forward fold, gently bend the knees, drop belly to thighs, crown of head and hands reach for the floor. Tuck your chin in towards your chest and one vertebrae at a time around your spine until you're in a standing position. Take your time here. I want you to feel those muscles work to get you up to standing. Once you're up to standing, slowly lift both arms overhead and gaze up towards the ceiling. Lower to forward fold, bring hands together, lowering them down through heart center, hinging forward at the hips, bending knees, dropping belly to thighs, head reaches towards the floor. Rise, half lift, flatten your back, hands to shins, shoulders draw away from ears. Step your right foot back into a lunge position. Bend your knees so you can plant your fingertips down and step the right foot back. Left knee is stacked right over the ankle. Lower right knee down to the floor and uncurl the toes. Draw breath in through the nose, lifting both arms overhead. Exhale out through the mouth, fingertips to floor. Step back into tabletop. Plant hands flat to mat if they're not already. Find chaturanga by leaning forward, shoulders past the wrist, bending elbows, keeping them close to the body so chest can come down to the mat, and then hips and top of feet to mat follow. Elbows pointing up towards the ceiling. Draw belly in, press your hip points into the mat to lift the chest off the floor into baby cobra. And press into your rest position, whether that's child's pose, hips all the way back to heels, or puppy pose, elbows to the mat. Attention comes back to your breath each time we're in our rest position. Take a few deep breaths here and appreciate these moments of stillness. As these rests will get a little shorter for the first part of class. Inhale as you rise back to tabletop and spread your fingers nice and wide, planting them on the mat, tucking toes onto mat, and lifting hips to down dog. Knees stay bent as hips come up to ceiling and belly presses back towards the thighs. Holding here. You want equal weight in our feet and our hands. So if you move nice and slow into your down dog, it's easier to keep that weight in the hands. Take another breath or two here. Then look forward, lean forward, stepping or placing right foot into lunge, lifting up to tips of fingers, send that chest forward. Step up to half lift, left foot steps up to the top, flatten back, hands to shins. Lower to fold, gently bend those knees, drop belly to thighs, arms hang heavy towards the floor. Tuck chin into chest and one vertebrae at a time, rounding spine up to standing. Again, slowly lifting arms overhead as you gaze up to ceiling. Lowering to forward fold, hands come down through heart center, belly drops to the thighs. Rise half lift, flatten your back. Step your left foot back into lunge, fingertips to floor, knee lowers down to floor, top of foot to mat. Draw breath in through your nose as you lift both arms overhead. Nice slow movement, keep control. Exhale out through mouth, fingertips return to the mat. Step back into a plank position, tabletop position, and lower to chaturanga. Shoulders past the wrist, bend the elbows, keep them close to body. Chest comes down first and then the hips. Inhale, drawing the belly in, baby cobra, shoulders behind the heart. Then exhale to your rest position, puppy pose or child's. Focus comes back to the breath, deepen the breath. Breathing into the back side of the body. Use your next exhale to meet me back in tabletop position and lift the hips to down dog, up towards the ceiling, belly back towards the thighs. If you've been practicing with your knees bent, you can try finding a little movement, pressing one heel down towards the floor and then swapping, pressing the other. You're always welcome to find a little bit of movement in your down dog, whatever feels good for you. Just keep breathing. Look forward, stepping left foot into lunge, lifting up to tips of fingers, stepping up to the top of the mat. Half lift, back is flat. Lower to fold, belly meets the thighs, crown of head reaches to floor, tuck chin into chest, and slowly round the spine up to standing. Give me an inhale to lift the arms overhead this time, gazing up, and an exhale to move you into forward folds, belly meets the thighs. Inhale, rise, half lift, flatten your back. Exhale as you step back into plank, planting the hands and stepping into a plank position. Lower knees to tabletop and take a breath in here. As you exhale, find chaturanga, leaning forward, keeping elbows close to body. Using your inhale for baby cobra, chest lifts, and exhale for your rest position, puppy pose or child's. Inhale brings us back to tabletop. And exhale takes us to downward facing dog, hips up to the ceiling. So down dog can be a lot. Even for those of us who practice a lot, you are more than welcome to skip any down dogs anytime during the class and then hop back in whenever you're ready. Look forward and step or place your right foot into lunge, sending chest forward. Breathe in as you step up to half lift, flattening your back. Exhale to forward fold, belly meets thighs. See if you can draw your inhale out as you slowly round the spine up to standing, and then exhaling at the top. Again, breath in, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold, belly to thighs. Inhale, half lift, and pause here. Bend the left knee and raise the right arm up to ceiling into twist. If the extended leg or the straight leg feels really tight, you can put a soft bend in that knee as well. Find some ease. Return to half lift, back flat, hands to shins. Then right knee bends and left arm lifts up to ceiling into twist. Meet me back in half lift, hands to shins, back is flat. Bend the knees enough so you can plant your fingertips to the floor. If you can plant your fingertips without bending the knees and keeping the spine long, you can do that. Otherwise, you're going to bend the knees a bit and drop your ribs down. Notice the difference between this and this. Nice long spine. We're going to lift the left leg into, we're going to lift the right leg into standing split. So shift all the way into the left foot. Start to lift the right leg behind you, pointing through the toes. It doesn't have to lift very high, but keep it raising up towards the ceiling, sending the belly down towards left thigh. We're holding here. Don't lock out the standing leg, tiny micro bend in the knee. And it doesn't have to be pretty. We're holding here. We're not holding the breath. Two options to get us into lunge. You can send that foot all the way back, looking back towards the foot. Or if you're more comfortable, come back to half lift and then step the right foot back into lunge. However you can meet me there is fine with me. Left knee is stacked right over the ankle, foot in between the hands. Bring your hands to your forward thigh and lift into high lunge, extending arms overhead. Left knee is still stacked over the ankle, pressing out through right heel. Right glute is nice and active. Tuck those low ribs in, remove the back bend. Still finding length on sides of body. Open to warrior two, turning to face the right side of the mat. Right heel rotates down and makes contact with the floor. Arms lower to shoulder height. Shoulders and hips are facing the long edge of the mat. We're gazing out over left hand. So left foot is facing forward towards the front of the mat. Right foot is facing towards the long edge of the mat. Pinky edge of right foot lined up with short edge of the mat. Inhale to reverse warrior, bringing left arm up to ceiling, finding that side stretch. If you need some ease in your forward leg, you can straighten the leg for the time being. And meet me back in warrior two, knee bend, stacking it over the ankle if you straighten the leg, and arms back at shoulder height. Inhale, reverse warrior once again. Exhale, warrior two, arms at shoulder height. Last time, breath in. This time as we exhale, windmill the arms down into lunge, lifting right heel off the mat. Step back into a plank position, drop the knees to tabletop. Exhale to chaturanga, leaning forward, bend the elbows, chest down to mat, hips down to mat. Breath in for baby cobra, shoulders behind the heart, and exhale to your rest position, either child's pose or puppy. Take a few moments of rest here. Attention comes back to the breath. Deepening the breath. Being present in the moment. Use your inhale to meet me back in a tabletop position, and your exhale to find downward facing dog, hips up to ceiling. If you're working towards straightening the legs and pressing heels to mat, it's more important that your spine stays long. So if you find that you're more focused on pressing your heels to mat than keeping yourself into alignment, I just ask that you check your ego practice for your body, not for what your ego wants. Take a deep breath here. Look forward and step your left foot into lunge, lifting up to tips of fingers. Inhale as you step up to half lift. Exhale as you lower to forward fold. Try to draw that inhale out as you slowly rise to standing. Take your time and exhale at the top. Breath in, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, and pause here. Left knee bends as we lift right arm up to ceiling into twist. No hold this time. Meet me back in half lift, hands to shins. Right knee bends, left arm lifts to ceiling. Breathe into chest. Exhale, meeting me back in half lift. Placing your fingertips to the floor, bending the knees a little bit if you need to. Shift all the way into the right foot this time. Start to extend the left leg behind you, lifting into standing split, pointing the leg up towards the ceiling, bringing belly down towards right thigh. Remembering not to lock out that standing leg. Don't hold the breath. Pointing actively through the raised leg, keeping glute active and leg active. And then meet me in lunge, however is best for you, either stepping that foot right back or stepping into half lifts first. Meet me in your lunge position and find high lunge. Hands come to thigh, arms extend overhead, right knee stacked right over the ankle. Take a breath or two here. Open a warrior two, facing the left side of the mat. Left heel makes contact with the floor, gazing out over right hand. Hips and shoulders face long edge of the mat. Inhale, reverse warrior, right arm up to ceiling. Optional to straighten the forward leg. Exhale, back to warrior two, arms at shoulder height. Inhale for two, reverse warrior, right arm up. Exhale, warrior two. Last time, deep breath in, slow movement. Exhaling, windmilling the arms down to lunge, lifting left heel off the mat. Step back into a plank position, drop the knees to tabletop. Exhale, chaturanga, lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, baby cobra, chest lifts. And exhale to your rest position. Taking a moment or two here. Inhale to meet me back in tabletop. And exhale to downward facing dog, hips up to ceiling. For this last down dog, I'll let it be yogi's choice. If you're familiar with variations, you can take any variation that you like. You can wiggle the hips, you can pedal the feet, bending one knee or the other. You can completely skip it. Take a few moments of breath here, whatever position that you're choosing or whatever variation, or just holding what we've been doing. Deepening the breath. Then looking forward and stepping your right foot into lunge. Inhaling, half lift, flattening the back. Exhaling to forward fold, belly meets the thighs. Tuck your chin in towards your chest and round the spine slowly up to standing. Then exhale at the top. Bring one hand to your chest, one hand to your belly. Lower your chin down towards your chest. You're either gazing at your mat, one spot on the floor, or the eyes are closed. Again, just being present in the moment. Taking note of the rate of your heart and the speed of your breath. Lift your chin from your chest, open the eyes if they were closed, and lower your arms down at your sides. Give me 3 deep breaths, lifting arms out at your sides, up overhead, gaze up to ceiling. Exhale out through mouth, lowering arms back down by your sides. You can close the eyes for the next 2 breaths if you like. Inhale, lifting arms overhead, tilting head up. Exhale out the mouth, lowering arms down at your sides. Last time, deep breath in, arms up. Exhale, hands to your sides. Take a second and make sure you're standing at the top of your mat with feet hips width distance apart. If you're up for the challenge, try keeping your eyes closed as we make our way to our belly. Breath in, arms come up, tilting head up towards the ceiling. And exhaling to forward fold, belly comes down to thighs. Inhale, half lift. Exhale as you step back into plank and hold this plank here. Don't hold the breath. We're gonna hold for 10 seconds here, but if you're tired, you can start to lower down to the belly already. We're all gonna meet there eventually. Lower knees to the mat and bring yourself all the way down to the mat. Turn your head so you can rest on your cheek. Lower arms along the sides of your body, palms face up to sky. Big toes touch, but heels fall away from one another. Give me a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth and melt onto the mat. Body hangs heavy. Let everything go. Wiggle the shoulders away from your ears. Make some space for your neck. And we'll take a short rest period here. Slowly turn your head to the opposite side, taking a few moments of rest on this side as well. Bring your chin to the mat. Place your hands back underneath your shoulders. And for the final time, press yourself into your chosen rest position. Slowly rise to tabletop. Cross the ankles and the hips back towards the feet and let the legs come forward. So you're in a seated position with the legs extended down the length of the mat. If that doesn't work for you, just get to a seated position however you can. Make sure you're sitting in the center of your mat. Feet are flexed, spine is long, up towards the sky. With both arms overhead, drop your chin to your chest. Round the spine into rounded back stretch. Lowering hands down to the knees, thumbs on the inside. Elbows facing out towards long edges of mat. On your next exhale, melt the shoulders away from the ears and take a few deep breaths here. It's normal to feel a lot of sensations here in this pose, so if that's you, that's okay. If you find you can't take deep breaths where you're at, ease out of the pose a little bit and then focus everyone on bringing your breath to the space you feel the most sensation. Encouraging those muscles to loosen up a bit. Slowly unround the spine, meeting me in staff pose, planting hands on either sides of your hips, finding length out through the spine, out through the crown of the head. Then relax back to neutral. Bend the knees so feet are planted on the mat. Hands come to the back of the thighs and roll down until you're flat on your back. Draw both knees in towards the chest, feet side by side. Interlace the fingers, hold below the knees and draw thighs close to body. If that's uncomfortable on your knees, you can hold on to the back of the thighs instead. We're gonna stay here for a few breaths, relieve a little tension from our low backs, and stimulate digestion. Gently tuck your chin in towards your chest. And gently rock side to side. Find some stillness. Place your hands on the back side of your thighs and extend the legs up towards the ceiling into our inversion. Heels are about in line with the hips. We're going to hold here for about 30 to 45 seconds. The legs start to feel tired. You can draw knees in towards the chest, keeping heels elevated, still getting the benefits, inducing relaxation, calming our nervous system, bringing some fresh oxygenated blood down towards our heads. Bring the knees all the way in towards the chest, lower heels down towards the body. Place your arms out in a T shape along the floor, palms face up to ceiling. Let the knees fall to the right into reclined spinal twist and gently turn your head towards the left. Start with the knees lined up with the hips. And as you exhale, press left shoulder down towards the floor. If you need a little less sensation in this twist, lower the knees away from the hands. But if you'd like a little more sensation, inch those knees up just a bit towards the hand. Be careful with yourself. Don't push yourself too hard. Focus comes back to the breath. Slowly draw the knees back to the center of your chest before letting the knees fall to the left and turning your head to the right. Start with the knees in line with the hips. Take a deep breath in, exhale, pressing right shoulder down towards the floor. And then adjusting the knees any if you like. Slowly draw knees back to center of the chest and wrap your arms around the legs, drawing them close to the body once again. Slowly lift your head to meet your knees. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold the breath at the top. As you exhale out through your mouth, release the body so you can lay flat on the mat, separating your legs and arms nice and wide. Take up as much space as you can. Let toes fall away from one another and palms face up to ceiling. Eyes are gently closed. Breathe in through the nose, exhaling out through mouth, letting body hang heavy onto the mat. We'll finish here in our final rest position. We remain still for about 2 to 3 minutes. Relax the muscles around the face. Separate the upper and lower jaw. Drop your tongue from the roof of your mouth. And bring all of your attention to your breath. Don't change the pattern of your breath, just follow the rhythmic repetitiveness. Allow every exhale to move you a little deeper into relaxation, to relieve a little more stress and tension from the body. Find comfort in your stillness. Slowly start to deepen your breath. Begin to wiggle your fingers, begin to wiggle your toes. Welcome movement back into your body. Gently roll over to the right side of your body, taking a moment of stillness on your side. If your neck's a little uncomfortable, you can prop your arm underneath your head like a pillow. Keeping your eyes closed or your gaze low to the floor, slowly press yourself up into any comfortable seated position. I know some of us are a little more slow coming out of our final rest position, so if you're not quite in your seated position yet, that's okay. Just keep an ear open so you know where we're headed. As always, to finish class, we take 3 cleansing breaths together as one, breathing in through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth. Today, we're going to add movement to our breath. As we exhale, we'll round our spine, drop chin to chest. As we inhale, we'll lift and arch the spine, tilting head up to ceiling. 3 times through. We'll all start on an exhale. Release all the breath you have out of your body. Round the spine, drop your chin to your chest. Start to breathe in nice and slow through the nose as you lift and arch the spine, tilting head up to ceiling. Exhale slowly out through the mouth as you round the spine and drop chin to chest. Breathing in through nose, finding the lift, finding the arch, breathing in. Exhaling to round the spine, chin meets the chest for 2. Last time, deepest breath yet, breathing in, fill the body with as much breath as you can. Exhale as slowly as you can, rounding spine, dropping chin to chest. Take a second to thank yourself for taking the time out of your day to practice, to find time to be on your mat. I thank you for letting me lead you through this practice. There is a light that exists within me that honors and respects the light that exists within each and every one of you. Thanks so much for practicing with me. I hope you guys enjoyed this class. If you did, a new version of this class is aired every Monday at 8 a.m. If you're looking for something a little more challenging, I do teach a core yoga class that is aired every Wednesday at 8 a.m. It's structured much like this class, however, no down dogs, and I tie in a bunch of core work. I hope you guys have a great week, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks so much for